What's up, everybody? Alex here with a pre-war pickup, a couple of cards actually that just came in. You know, ever since I finished the 53 Bowman set, which was now well over a couple of years ago, I've been slowly dipping my toe in the waters of all the other possibilities that are out there. Mainly my focus, as you guys know, has been 1950s cards and early pre-war, mostly tobacco and candy cards. But one area that really has been sorely untapped, I guess, is the 1930s. Well, today I'm making a little bit more progress in that area by getting two cards that I think are absolutely gorgeous from the 1934-36 Diamond Stars set, which in my opinion is one of the most beautiful looking sets that's out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at both of these cards in a little bit more detail. So first up, we've got Stanley Hack of the Chicago Cubs in this absolutely stunning illustration. Just the color combination, the Art Deco style, the city in the background, which makes me think of like 1930s cartoons like Superman or Dick Tracy. Just an incredible piece of art and a wonderful rendering of Smilin' Stan Hack. Let's take a quick look at the back just so you get a sense of what the Diamond Stars cards look like on the back. They often have instructions and tips on how to field and a little excerpt about the player. Alright, so here's a little bit more about Stanley Hack. As I mentioned, his nickname was Smilin' Stan, and that's just because that was his disposition. He was always a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. He played his entire career with the Chicago Cubs, and as it turns out, this guy was one of the best third basemen of his era. So just a few stats to give you an idea of what this guy was capable of. He batted .301 lifetime. He scored 100 runs 7 times in his career. Twice he led the National League in both hits and stolen bases, and he had a .394 on-base percentage, which was highest until somebody named Wade Boggs came around. In terms of fielding, he was just behind Pie Traynor in the all-time stats column. All in all, I'd say Smilin' Stan was no slouch. And here's a fun little piece of baseball trivia. In that era, as in all eras of baseball, team owners were always trying to find ways to get people to the park. In 1935, one team employee came up with an idea of playing off of Smilin' Stan's personality by handing out mirrors that were labeled Smile with Stan. The mirrors featured Stan's face on the reverse side. But of course, fans being fans, they soon discovered that the bright reflection off the mirrors could create havoc for the opposing team on the field. It got so bad that the umpires threatened to forfeit the game if the fans didn't stop. Needless to say, such promotions were quickly banned from future games. And perhaps the most interesting part of the story, that employee who came up with the promotion was none other than a 21-year-old Bill Veeck, who would go on to make a name for himself in the world of unusual baseball promotions. Alright guys, now let's take a look at this card, Al Lopez. I freaking love this card. If you're looking for realism when you're looking at this card, you're going to be disappointed because there's nothing real about this card. This card is all about having fun. It's definitely an illustration. It feels almost like a cartoon. I mean, even his catcher's mask, which he has just thrown off, has these little cartoon movement lines. And you've got the bat, you've got the baseball. The proportions are weird. It's not realistic at all, but it's beautiful, it's fun, and it's really very much of the era. And I gotta mention the solid blue background of the stadium and those flags back there. This is just a fantastic card, and I would have to say that if you wanted to go after catcher cards, this would have to be towards the top of the list. I think this is just a really fun card that is really emblematic of the era in which it was released. Okay, so just a little bit about Al Lopez, known as El Señor. Perhaps most famous for managing the Cleveland Indians when they played second fiddle to the Yankees in the early 50s, with, of course, the exception of 1954 when they got the pennant, only to lose to the Giants in the World Series. He moved on to coach the Go-Go White Sox, who were also a perennial second-place team in the late 50s, finally winning the pennant in 1959. When he was a player, Lopez originally had ties to the big train himself, Walter Johnson, who was impressed with Lopez's skills behind the plate during a winter barnstorming exhibition game And eventually Lopez got a job as a practice catcher with the Senators in 1925, thanks to Johnson's recommendation. Lopez would later join the Dodgers and become their main catcher in 1930, and he remained a starter through the 30s. One of the things he was most notable for was working really well with a variety of different pitchers and styles, calling good games, and during his career he made it to 2 All-Star games. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, I just wanted to mention that if you're in the mood to check out some more cards from the 1930s, there's a lot of great stuff out there on a lot of great channels, but I particularly wanted to encourage you to check out Near Mint Musings, Brent, who also seeks out these kinds of cards from this era. They may not be big time stars, but they are just beautiful pieces of cardboard, so definitely check out his channel. You can also check out Chuck Northside Guy, who has an amazing Gaudi collection that he's sharing with us. And if you want to see where all the Hank Greenberg Diamond Stars cards have ended up, they are all over at B. Roth's 6th channel. I've got links to all 3 of those channels below. I hope you take a look and enjoy those cards. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Talk to y'all soon.